Hi, today I'm going to talk about the Rumsfeld Matrix, which is a tool used to take decisions, and how you can use AI or better LLMs at each step to help you in this decision process. So the basic idea is to represent all the variables that you need to make a decision in a space with two dimensions. And the first would be the knowledge that you have of the value of that specific variable. And the other axis will be how aware you are of that variable existing in the first place. The space is typically divided into 4 sectors in this way. So in the bottom left, we have unknown unknowns. These are basically black swan events. Okay, we are things that we are not aware they exist, and we would have no way of knowing also their value. Okay, and there are things that still can affect our decision. Think if the decision is like, should I take the umbrella out today? This could be something like the car is broken. Okay, that seems completely unrelated, but they could still have an effect, because if the car is broken, then I'll have to take the bus or walk, and that could affect whether I need my umbrella or not. Then in the top right, we have the opposite type of variables. Those are known knowns. So we do know they exist, we are aware of them, and we do know their value. That's where ideally we want to be, right, to make a rational decision. Here in the bottom right, we have unknown knowns, which are the trickiest probably to understand. These are things that we have knowledge of, but we are not aware of. How can that be possible? Well, I think you could have a list of facts, so basically of known knowns, right? But from these facts, maybe you can deduce something else. There is emerging knowledge, right? Like from A, B, and C, you could deduce D, and D is not present in your original list. So that D fact would be here. And then in the top left, you have known unknowns. So these are variables that you are aware they exist, but you do not know their value. So how can you use this tool, and how can you use AI to help you on top of that? Well, this is something you want to use, when you want to maybe learn something new, or launch a new product, or assess the quality of some existing products, of some existing project, right? So usually you start from somewhere around here, right? Unknown unknowns. It means you don't know much, don't know much at all. And you don't even know what things you should know about. And the first movement you want to do is to go up here. Step number 1 means that you identify the variables that you should know. It means that you get a first grasp on the problem and you make a framework. And here AI can help. You can use deep research tools. Those are very useful at this stage. ChatGPT has it, and Google Gemini has it. Basically, you give it a topic, a question, and it will do a web search and create a report for you on that topic that brings you from 0, let's say, to competent, at least at a superficial level. It's also true in my experience that these are not always factually very accurate in the details, so like take everything they tell you with a grain of salt, but they are great at kind of giving you a first overview of a subject that you are unfamiliar with. And then another technique that is less popular is that of having the LLM interview you. It's a prompting technique where you tell the LLM the objective you have, and then you say, before giving me a plan to get there, interview me and ask me all the questions that you need to get, all the information that you need to know out of me to make that plan. And that is very useful, because often just by answering the questions the LLM tells you, you kind of figure out what are the parameters that kind of create a framework for this thing, and what are the things that you should be focusing on. So that helps you kind of getting a first assessment of the area. And then, well, once you have these, right, so you know what basically when you're here, you know what you should know, but you don't yet know it, kind of, right? You know the variables, but you don't know what they would measure to, let's say. So you have to then do a measurement process, right? And so you want to move to here. This is step 2. So step 2 will basically be figuring out all the facts. Okay, now you know which facts you should know, and now you have to go out and figure them out. And here, well, I mean, AI can be great as a tutor, right, or as a search engine. Now ChatGPT, I think Claude and others have this web search functionality, right? So you can basically tell them, okay, find me how this and that is, right? And you can find many sources. You can figure out if there are sources on that thing. You can kind of dig deep on every single detail, and figure out, the value. Of course, again, do not use the actual LLM for factual accuracy. They are not good at that. Always go to the sources. They are just helping you basically to find the source material. And then at this point you might think you're done. Well, you are not, because there might be stuff that you haven't considered, okay? Especially when you're not an expert on the subject, you might be missing big, obvious facts. And what you should do then, in my opinion, is try to do step 3, which would be, let's figure out if among the stuff I know, there is more knowledge, more hidden knowledge, okay? And here, how can AI help you? Well, this is actually, in my experience, the weakest link. So AI is pretty bad at this, okay? And this would be critical thinking. You need to look over what you have already and critically think, okay, is there more stuff I can add? Are there facts that contradict each other or that support each other to create new emerging knowledge? AI, in my experience, is pretty bad at this, so I'm not sure if you can use it. Of course, you could just prompt it, ask it what I just said, but in my experience, doesn't work so well. So you have to kind of do that yourself. And then step number 4. Will be basically, okay, let's gather then everything. Now we really have a hopefully complete set of facts and the subject or the decision we want to take. And now we kind of have to make a decision based on all of this. And at this step, AI can help by verify what you wrote, okay, if it makes sense, if there's any inaccuracy. So if it can find source material that contradicts your conclusions. So some level of critique, though it's different than the critical thinking from the previous step. This is more like, exactly, can you find a source that contradicts me? And summarizing if you need that, or rephrasing, adapting the format in general to whatever format you require at the end. So that's the Rumsfeld Matrix, how it can help you to make decisions and how you can use AI at each step of the way to help you with that. I hope you find this useful, and see you the next time.